I want to talk briefly about the Align and Distribute palette right over here. Now, with Smart Guides, you can get these little green lines that show up, and that tells me that the right side of this object is aligned with the right side of that orange square. But there is an easier way than just eyeballing it or moving guides over and then moving things to the guides. Let me show you what that is. So, the Align and Distribute palette over here, you have the Align, Distribute, and the Distribute spacing. And each of these buttons is going to do something slightly different, obviously. And you have the option to align to the selection, align to a key object, or align to the artboard. Let me show you what that means. So let's select everything. When you align to the artboard, and right for now we'll just throw it all to the left, it's going to align it to the left edge of that artboard, or the right edge of that artboard, or the top, middle, whatever button you push, it's going to put it to the artboard. If you choose the selection, then when you do that, it aligns it within that selection. Notice how it's not on the left side of the artboard, it's on the left side of the selection. Do that with the right, do that with the middle, do that with the top, do that with the middle, do that with the bottom. Okay, and that's within the selection. If you click without holding any modifier keys on one of these objects, so let's click on this one, then it changes this to align to key object. Notice that this is thicker right here. This little blue outline is thicker, showing us that this is the key object. So now when we press Align Left, it all jumps to the key object. Or Align Right. Oops, sorry, click there, Align Right. Jumps to the right edge of this triangle. See, if it's just normal like this, and I press that, notice everything jumps because we're back to align to this selection. Now, Distribute works very similar. There are two ways that I like to do it. Now, I'm going to go Align to the artboard. And if you go this way, it's going to horizontally distribute equally within whatever selection you choose. So in this case, it would be the artboard. I press that, that horizontally distributes it. If we get these to go that way, you can see that these are equal spacing, right? So if I want to see what happens within the selection that I have, it's going to do its best, to keep it. Notice that they're all overlapping an exact amount. Now, another way that you can do that is if you want to be much more precise. Let's say we want these to line up at the top, but then that we want them to be a specific distance apart. So I'm going to choose a key object. I'm going to choose this guy. And then I can come in here and I can go, I want each one of these to be 1/2 inch. And then when I press this, each one of those, and if we pull our rulers over here, we can see each one of those is about 1/2 inch. It's exactly 1/2 inch distributed. You can do the same thing that way. Each one will be exactly 1/2 inch, and if we align them all to the left, you can see that they're exactly that way. So this is a really good way to do alignment, and it only affects things that are selected. So if you don't have things selected, then you can avoid moving certain things. These two weren't selected, these three were. Distribute them equally. You can continue to do things like that. You can also do, and this gets a little bit more confusing, but you can also do anchor points. So I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to grab this anchor point, and I'm going to go to Artboard, Align Bottom, and it'll throw those down to the bottom there. Or if I have multiple objects, I can choose Align Selection, for example, and notice it jumped those to match those. So you can align anchor points as well. And the last anchor point that you choose becomes your key anchor point. So let's say, for example, these two are up here, and I want them to align perfectly on one line or align with this one. I've got my key anchor point. This was the last anchor point that I selected. So when I press Align Top, it jumps to align those anchor points. So you can do shapes or anchor points or text boxes. So that's it. Go play with that palette and make sure to check me out at CoreyKerr.com and on Twitter at CoreyKerr.